Hi guys. So today I kind of just wanted to have a little sit down chat. This is about race. And before anyone goes oh no, you're gonna have to just listen to the whole thing before you even judge. This goes to the Black Lives Matter movement. So over the past few months, I've heard people's different opinions, and I've been hearing them, collecting them, and I finally feel like I actually should speak out and talk about it, and hopefully raise awareness and speak for the people who don't think they can get their voice to be heard. The fact that the Black Lives Matter movement actually had to happen for people to realize some things were very unequal is actually fucking sad. That is terribly sad, and that is humiliating to even be in a human race for that. And if you actually think about it, the only reason they're even doing this is not because they want to be violent. It's not because they want to cause chaos. It's because they want to have at least their children that have a risk of being able to live. And if their kids manage to live, they want to be able to be around for their kids. I've seen plenty of things where kids lost their parents, who were falsely accused, held at gunpoint, and I've seen plenty of things where parents lost their children because of being where parents had lost their children due to the fact that their kid was falsely accused of something, or their kid was held at gunpoint and shot. I was actually watching something the other day, and it was on TikTok, and I actually cried watching it because it actually physically hurt me. I am someone who loves children to death. I love and adore children so much, and I'm a very emotional person. So when I watched it, I was just crying so bad. Basically, it was these parents talking to their little girls. I didn't see any little boys in it. I'm gonna have to look into it more, but this daddy was talking to his little 8-year-old girl, and he talks about when he was either tased or held at gunpoint for something he didn't do, and he actually told the people that they have something that they practice, and she held up her arms, she stated her name, she stated her age, and she stated that she was trying to do nothing wrong. And she stated what she was doing at that time. And her dad has her practice this quite a little bit, since you can tell it's almost perfected by that point. And she looked at her dad, and she just started crying. And she went up on him and gave him a hug, and she was bawling. And, we had to comfort her, and he was like, oh, it's okay, I'm still here. And then there was a girl who I think was around my age, and, her mom was talking to her about something, and telling her that she's really not going to have any kind of say in this world because of how it is today. And, oh my God, the fact that you could tell her heart sunk. The fact that it sunk and you could tell was absolutely heartbreaking. And she started crying, and her mom had to go and give her a hug and tell her it's gonna be okay, and hopefully this will be resolved soon. And that is absolutely sad that these people have to tell their children all of this stuff when they just want to have each equal treatment, and they want to be able to live just as much. They want to be able to have a higher risk of giving actual natural birth just as much as every other race. And I actually was watching a show where this mom, the black woman and her husband, they were both African Americans, she was at the hospital and she didn't trust them. she was about to give birth, and then as soon as they were about to walk out the door, she started bleeding. Meaning that something, I don't know exactly what it's called, but meaning she was going into labor at that moment. And based on something, some kind of scanner for her race, it gave her a low chance of being able to give natural birth. And she wanted natural birth. She didn't want to have a C-section. She wanted natural birth. There was a nurse. He might have been a doctor. I'm not 100% sure. But he was mainly seen in scrubs, so I think he was a nurse. I don't exactly know. And he actually, he's told to let her have natural birth. She did it. She was fine. And you know the sad part was they actually had to move that machine to say her race was white, to get the perfect score for her to be able to do that. It's absolutely sickening and sad that we have these machines detected to tell each other's race and show all of these things on why they don't want to give birth in hospitals and why they prefer at-home births, why they don't want all of this. And it is sad, absolutely disgusting that we as the society as a whole have to do this. And to the people who think all lives matter, you're on the right track. You are. But you need to tweak that. Because we cannot physically say all lives matter until we wipe out what's happening to the black people. We wipe out what's happening to Asians. We wipe out what's happening to Hispanic people. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for saying that, but it's fucking true. And yeah, I do support Biden, and I don't support everything he does, but the fact that he actually is trying to make an equal part for each race is wonderful. Yeah, he's kind of messing up a little bit of our economy right now, but I think that actually he's doing pretty good things right now with trying to intersect into that race thing, because he is white. White. I meant to say he is right. He is right. A lot of white people have privilege. And before any other white people come, I actually had to learn a little bit more myself about this from a friend. White privilege isn't, oh, yeah, I go to therapy too, and blah, blah, blah. Or maybe, oh, I go to the same grocery store and we get treated equally, or I get treated a little more poorly than the African American woman that was in front of me. No, that's not it. The fact is, what white privilege is the fact that they are able to speak out more without getting hurt. They are able to walk out of the house and do things without a cop holding them at gunpoint. They're able to even do crimes and serve a less sentence than a black man or a black woman, and that is absolutely disgusting. If you're gonna sentence someone for the same thing, just different race, you have to put them for equal sentencing. Unless there was a minor thing in the crime that made it less, then that's fine. But if you're doing it based off race and they have the same thing going on, then you are just racist. That's just facts right there. And I support the Black Lives Matter movement. I have donated a few bucks here and there. My parents have too, to like when they were doing grocery store things, to like help like the Black Lives Matter movement for certain grocery stores. My parents have too. And it is honestly sad that people find the need to destroy things when they're actually in the riot too. Now, I'm not going to defend how people act in the riots, because sometimes how they act is absolutely unacceptable. Like with breaking in, entering, being violent, that is unacceptable. But really, at the same time, you have to look at it as, at some point, there's no longer going to be a way of someone seeing it, and they're going to actually have to get violent in order for someone to see it. That's kind of how I look at that. And yeah, there were a lot of good riots, and there were also a lot of bad ones where they broke into stores, took everything, and that riot was awful. It was absolutely unacceptable. But, at the same time, we can say that, but we can't tell anyone how to riot. We can't tell anyone how to act it, because it is their life that they want. There are moms and dads out there fighting and rioting for their children to be able to walk down the street without getting shot. There are siblings out there rioting due to the fact that they lost a sibling or a family member, or they're trying to defend that so they don't lose that. And it is heartbreaking. I really hope one day we can all kind of just come together as a nation and realize we're all going to disagree on things, but we're going to have to stick together. I really hope one day that can manage and be possible, but with the way the police system is, I don't think that is. I'm not someone who supports ACAB. I don't know if I even said it right. But here's a little understanding of ACAB. ACAB is not saying all cops are bad. And they're also not saying all cops are bastards. The problem is ACAB only exists because they're following an awful, rigged system that has not been fixed. And a lot of these incidences are mainly with children, and when kids see the police, they get scared and they run. That's a normal reaction. As a society, we're taught to run, but cops are trained to fire when we run. And yeah, if I understand how that works, but at the same time, we can't just go around shooting anyone we want to because they ran. Or the case where a man was shot running or jogging, I don't remember which one it was, by these two white men. One was an older man, I think the next was his son or something, and they said they only did because there was a few break-ins in that neighborhood. That is, no. We can't just go around claiming shooting people. This man was on a run for his health, man. He is jogging. He is running. He is just trying to make sure his health is amplified. Maybe he was trying to get away from the household. You never know. But you just shot that man and you ended his life right then and there without ever knowing what the fuck he was going to do. And that is awful. And yeah, sometimes we're going to have to do that. But at some point, we're going to have to put an end to that because that is absolutely disgusting. And that is not right. There are little kids. There are black children. Mixed. Whatever. They can have both parents who are black. They can have mixed. They could be mixed. It does not matter. These children do not deserve to be afraid of the real world. Yeah, the real word. The real world is hard and it sucks and it is complete ass. But that does not mean they shouldn't be. That does not mean they have every right to be afraid. That does not mean you need to make them afraid. That means you need to show them the reality. But how are you going to expect those children to want to be out in the real world and not living under a fucking shell when their race specifically is targeted by police, by random people on the fucking street? That is not okay. And I actually feel really bad that I actually have to speak out on this, because I feel like no one should have to address this kind of conversation, because we should all at least at some point have learned that everyone matters, in that their race doesn't define who they are, and that we just can't stereotype someone based off their race. It is sad that we actually have to address this kind of conversation today, but it has to happen. Doesn't matter how long it took for me to speak out about this. It doesn't matter. The fact is that to have someone speak out on this in general, it does not matter. The point is, no one should have ever had to speak out on this kind of thing. No one, ever. And it is sad that as today's society, we are actually having to speak out on Stop Asian Hate. Black Lives Matter. Muslim Lives Matter. It is sad that we actually have to make those kind of things in order to get peace and in order to feel safe. That is absolutely sad. Now, the point of this conversation is... I actually don't. Oh my god, I really should have came more prepared for this. I don't know. I felt really riled up because I saw that video of the children, and I broke. Because that is not okay at all. Point is of this entire fucking video and this entire conversation is, do not judge anyone off their race. Black lives do matter. Those children, they want to be able to grow up and live and just be able to, run and jog on the sidewalk without getting shot. They want to be able to reach their dreams equally as other races can. And yeah, I might get some backlash from people who don't support Black Lives Matter or anything like that, but that's fine. I do not care. I am standing up for something that is right. And the fact that people are still saying that it isn't right to support that is absolutely awful. It's terrible. It is a shame to live in today's society. Anywho, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed that talk and conversation. I hope if some of you guys never supported Black Lives Matter, I hope that it kind of changed your perspective on that. And if you do support Black Lives Matter, I hope it made you a little happy to, have someone you support speak out on it, or have someone you're close to speak out on it. And I know, I have, a few friends, a lot of friends who follow me on my YouTube channel, and, I hope that this at least reaches out to, some of the mass, and even if it doesn't reach out to, everyone, I hope that this at least reaches out to some people, because we do at some point as a whole have to decide when enough is enough, and I think enough is enough now. Asians should not have to fear for their life because of some guy who was having a bad day. I feel Black children and adults should not, and elders, teens, I feel like they shouldn't even have to consider the fact that they need to practice what to do in front of a police officer and practice what they need to say in front of a police officer. Today's world is just fucked, but you guys have a good day. Hope you guys enjoyed the talk. Like, subscribe, comment, share. I love you guys.